Okay, you're all set to begin.
Okay, thank you. Before I open the hearing for the Barnstable Conservation Commission, I would like to ask Louise to do a roll call for the quorum purpose.
Foster, present. Rashford. Jeff?
Present.
Heron.
Present.
Lee.
Present.
Mr. Sampu is not here yet. Tangley and Abadili are absent tonight. But we have a quorum, Mr. Chairman, a quorum of 4 at the moment, and our staff is present, Kimberly Kavanaugh and Ed Hoops.
Right. Welcome to Jeff Kasalux to the commissions. He is the newest member of the Conservation Commissions. Welcome. Acting under the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, and or Chapter 237 of the Code of Town of Barnstable, the Barnstable Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on Tuesdays, January the 14th, 2025 at 3 p.m. for the application of Barry Loser Liero. This hearing is being recorded and broadcast on the Town of Barnstable's Government's Access Channel. The plans and application are on file and may be reviewed by scheduling appointments by sending email requests to @hoops at 230 South Street, Hyannis. This hearing is being recorded and broadcast on the Town of Barnstable's Government's Access Channel. In accordance with the Mass General Law, Chapter 38, Section 20, please let the chair know if anyone is recording this hearing. Hearing none. This afternoon's hearing agenda is posted on the town's website. On the agenda, next to each application is the amount owed to the Town of Barnstable for the cost of advertisement. Please send your checks to the Conservation Division at 230 South Street before the hearing. Remote participations. The Conservation Commission's public hearing will be held by remote participation as a result of an act extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency, signed by the Governor on March 29, 2023, suspending certain provisions of the Open Meeting Law. Remote public access to this hearing shall be provided in the following manner. 1. The hearing will be televised via Xfinity Channel 8 or High Definition 1072. It may also be accessed via Town of Barnstable's Government's Access Channel. 2. The real-time public comment can be addressed to the Conservation Commission utilizing the Zoom link 871-9393-3106 or use the toll-free phone number 888-475-4499 as shown on the agenda. 3rd, the public can also email the comments to edwin.hoops@town.barnstable.ma.us at least 8 hours prior to the hearing.
All right.
Who's that? Oh, Charlie. Oh, Charlie is here. Hi, Charlie.
Hi, but I didn't say hi before somebody else did, Tom.
Okay. Jeff is here too, so. Under the old and new business, we have 2 items. The first one is the vote to authorize the interim Barnstable Conservation Administrator Ed Hoops to sign the document on behalf of the commission member. Before Darcy retired, we also do the similar paperwork so that she can sign for us for all the order conditions. And I think we need to do one for Ed, being the new interim conservation administrator. This would expire until the end of March 2025 until we hear any more about whether the remote meeting can be continued or not. So could I have a motion to approve these authorizations?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Foster, aye. Cashler's.
Aye. Aye.
Okay, I'll do better next time. Heron.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
It's unanimous, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. The next item is the open meeting law violation complaints filed with the Conservation Commissions. the commission has received a complaint of an open meeting law violations by Mr. Daneskis dated January the 8th, 2025. The commission has 14 business days to make the response or until the January 27th, 2025. The first step for the commission is to review the complaint which Kim Kavanaugh has sent it out on January the 9th, 2025. The next step for us to do is to vote to delegate the response to these complaints to the town's legal departments. We don't need any discussion. We just have to authorize the town's legals to make the response. Could I have a motion?
If I may?
Yeah, go ahead.
If anyone has questions, they can certainly ask or discuss, but you're correct. This is limited to the commission delegating the response to the legal department, and then I can talk with you further about the response.
Right. Any question for Kate? Hearing none. Could I have a motion to delegate the preparations of the commission's response to Kate Conley of the town's legal department?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Foster, aye. Kashluchek.
Aye, it's Kashulik, Louise, okay?
Kasulik. Okay.
Kashulik, yeah.
Look.
Kashulek.
Good.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. All right. Hearn,
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
It's unanimous, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Thank you, Kate.
Okay, you're welcome. I'll send the chair the draft response when I have it,
Okay.
and after we discuss it, of course.
Yes.
Okay. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. The next one is the revised plan. I have to hold this off until Pete show up because we started conversations. So and Jeff is not in the quorum. The next thing that we're going into is the enforcement order. I'll take things out of order. We go to the C first. Andrew M. and Diane D. Tibbet, trustee, and 636 Old Farmers Road Trust, 636 Old Farmers Road, Marston's Mill, map 124, parcel 010, alteration of a wetland resource area, and the 0 to 50-foot buffer to a wetland resource area. Round pond by placing sand on the pond shore for the purpose of creating a beach and maintaining an unpermitted dock. Ed?
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. This was brought to our attention. There was an anonymous complaint. I did make contact with Mr. Tape, the homeowner. He has been very cooperative with everything we've been working on. Since then, he's a relatively new homeowner to this property, and he had bought the property and thought everything was okay. I've explained to him the principles behind the beach and the commission's viewpoints on beaches, especially in this area that is natural heritage habitat. He understands that what he needs to do moving forward. And again, you can see it was just a small area of beach sand that he's put down. And what we're asking is that he remove the dock and the unpermitted dock and sand from the pond shore. He may go ahead and try and seek permitting for a freshwater dock in the future if he'd like by filing a notice of intent. There is no guarantee on that one. And then we're allowing the pond shore to renaturalize on its own. Again, Mr. Tape has been very cooperative in doing all of this, and he is moving forward with that. With that, I will turn it over to the commission for any questions, and Mr. Tape is in the audience.
Any question from the commissioners to Ed? Louise?
Do we know who installed the dock?
No, the dock was done a long time ago, and again, it's probably gone through three owners, maybe as many as three owners have had this in place. So no, we don't know anything about that.
So it's not newly installed.
Yeah, and we don't even know we don't even know exactly when it was put in, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Bill?
Same question regarding the sand. Is that something that was just done by the new owner?
That was the new homeowner. He didn't realize that he needed a permit for that. And it is going to actually be something that he will be able to remove relatively quickly and efficiently. So
Yeah. Just as a comment to the homeowner, I mean, I think a dock, in my personal opinion, should be a slam dunk, an easy thing to get a permit for. The sand, I'm thinking not.
yeah, no, we've already discussed the idea that that is not that's not likely to
What
happen.
it's worth.
Yeah.
Thanks, Bill. To the homeowner, Andrew, do you have any comment? Thank you for working with Ed on this.
I'm sorry. Yeah, no comments other than appreciation for Ed's support, guiding me through the rules and regulations that pertain to the property, especially within the buffer zone. And my apologies to create work for the commission and Ed, and we'll remediate the sand situation. And then, as Ed stated, it was quite a surprise to hear that the dock, whenever it got there, was done so without permitting, knowing the sensitivity to those structures in these types of areas. So I will follow the recommendations of the commission.
Yeah, you're welcome to file the NOI for that dock, and if you can provide some pictures to show some historical information, that would help your applications.
Right. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Could I have a motion to approve the enforcement order as written?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Foster, aye. Kashulik,
Aye.
Hearn,
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
It's unanimous, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Good luck. The next enforcement order is Eliza Redley Entin, trustee, and Eliza Redley Entin Realty, revocable trust, 1694 Main Street, Contour, map 017, parcel 017, alterations of a wetland resource area, bordering vegetated wetland by unpermitted cutting of vegetations and altering of the 50-foot buffer to a wetland resource area, BVW, by unpermitted cutting of vegetation. Ed?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This came in, this was, apparently it was well known. There were a lot of complaints that called in on this one. It is highly visible right on Main Street in Katuitt, right across from Rescue Marsh Pond. The homeowner had been seeking some input on Phragmites control, had actually spoken to mosquito control about that. Mosquito control was doing certain work over in that area. At the time, they said that obviously you would have to have permitting to do that. They did start doing a project over on that parcel, and what basically happened is that the mosquito control had told them that they had an exemption under the Wetlands Protection Act. The homeowner chose to after mosquito control had left, the homeowner had chosen to do more cutting than what was needed or was permitted, obviously. And so this is what the area looked like before. This is what mosquito control had done to do their acts for what they need, and again, that was done under the exemptions that they are provided under Mass Wetlands Protection Act. And then the day after mosquito control left. This is what happened. The homeowner had gone through and gotten their one of their gardeners to blow the hole through the Phragmites area. So long and the short of it, Ms. Fentine has acknowledged that she has done wrong, that she had done the work without permitting, that she understands that she needs permitting in the future. She's actually started working with Wilkinson Environmental to do Phragmites control the correct way. She has issued this letter to me saying that she will comply with the enforcement order as written. Basically asked her to stop doing any cutting without permitting and to allow the disturbed area, the cut area, to grow back naturally with Phragmites. That will probably be done by May or June at the latest. And they will continue to pursue permitting then at a later date. There is the homeowner was also cited with a non-criminal citation. You'll see that in a little bit. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Ed. Any questions from the commissioner to Ed? Seeing none. Could I have a motion to approve the enforcement order as written?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Foster, aye. Kashulak,
Aye.
Hearn,
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
It's unanimous, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. The next enforcement order is Massachusetts Audubon Society, Inc., 0 Rendezvous Lane, Barnstable, map 300, parcel 020, alterations of the 50-foot buffer, 0 to 50-foot buffer to 2 wetland resource area, bordering vegetated wetland and salt marsh by unpermitted cutting of the tree and failure to comply with the orders of a vista pruning permit, DA-04040. Ed?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This actually came in as a complaint from DPW. They had been going by the area at the time, looking at another project along the roadside there, and noticed the tree had been cut. They asked if we had given permission for any of this, and they had. I had told them no, there was no permission for tree cutting. Rendezvous Lane Homeowners Association does have a long-standing determination to do a vista pruning vista pruning cut along a section of the roadway that runs pretty much through this area. They have been working on that under that permit since 2004, with basically the same conditions that have been applied every year that they've done the cutting. You can see what was cut. Was image on the right here. It's a dead snag. It was a good sized snag, approximately 14 inches, 12 to 14 inches in diameter. So it was a good sized snag that was cut down. The person who did the cutting turned out that it was actually done at the behest of an individual that was certainly going to gain some access as far as the cutting or a view shed. And so what happened is the individual homeowner, I believe it's at 115 Rendezvous Lane, had sought out on their own the assistant of the person who is charged with doing the annual cutting here. And the assistant, unbeknownst to the Rendezvous Lane Homeowners Association, and certainly to his boss, as far as I know, and certainly to Mass Audubon, went out and did the cutting on their own. This was clearly a violation. You can see that this is the general description of conditions that we put on this particular vista pruning permit, and it clearly specifically stated that they are to leave dead trees and dead branches within the area. So what I'm asking is that a restoration sketch plan, which is really nothing more than in this case, it'll be a GIS plan that's showing where they're going to be planting a replacement tree or replacement trees if they need to do more than one, be submitted to the agent by February 15th, and that the planting be carried out by May 31st. I would also ask the commission to consider asking the Rendezvous Homeowners Association to do a new determination, a new RDA application for cutting, so we can get it. I think working 20 years on the same determination is probably a little bit more than what we should allow. And then this would allow sort of a reset to the permission for that view corridor or view cutting. Again, Mass Audubon had nothing to do with it. It's just that they are purely the homeowner. There has been a long-standing agreement between Audubon and the homeowners association, allowing them to do this. And I think Ian Ives, the director at Long Pasture, will have a few more comments for that one to clarify that relationship as well. So with that, I am, just to let you know, I am going to be pursuing non-criminal citations for the individual who did the cutting. And so you're going to hear some more of that in the near future. So with that, I will stop sharing the screen if the commissioners have any questions. Again, Ian Ives is here representing Mass Audubon, and I believe there might be some people from the Homeowners Association who would like to address this as well.
Before I go there, let me go to the commission first. Bill?
Yeah, you might have said it, but I don't remember. What species of tree was it? What kind of tree? And the reason I ask is that, when we do a lot of, tree plantings, sometimes people pick the shorter, smaller ones that don't have a problem with vista and whatnot. So are we planning on, it looked like a big tree that was there. So what are we talking about planting? And then secondly, are we going to have, whatever that kind of tree is approved by the staff, Concom staff?
Yeah, so it's going to ask for a restoration plan or restoration sketch plan. I would suggest that they probably try and do two trees, although it's going to be very difficult to find enough space to actually get 2 trees planted. But you're right, it was a sizable snag, about 12 inches in diameter at least. And I don't remember right off the top of my head what the species it was, but I think it was either maple or oak. But I don't remember right off the top of my head.
That's what it looked like, I thought.
But it would it would definitely be another native tree to replace.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Bill. Any other question from the commission?
Yeah, I have one.
Hi, Louise.
Hi, Ed. You said it was going to be difficult to find space to plant 2 trees. So what is the limitation of the space? I mean,
you just have to have a physical space that you can, there is a lot of wetland in the area, and the wetland drops off very, or the bank drops off very quickly there. So there's very limited space where you can actually find to actually plant more than 1 tree. So
And even kind of all along there.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise you're going to be running into the shoulder of the road, and you'd be infringing on one of the So you don't want to do that either. So.
Okay, I understand. Thank you.
So Ed, you can take a look at your judgment in terms of where is the best location for that trees and how many. One depending on that.
I'll work with Ian for that. So
Ian, do you want to say anything about this?
Sure. Good afternoon, commissioners. Yeah, I can say to answer Ed's question about the timeline for the approval of vista pruning, that was issued back in 1982, so it has been longstanding. And the most recent request, as Ed mentioned, was in July of 2004 by my predecessor. So it does seem to make sense that the new RDA should be filed. As far as tree varieties, I think, I can discuss that more with Ed when we do a site visit to see if maybe there's a series of smaller trees that could, in some, represent what was taken down, as opposed to trying to replace. Obviously, it's not possible to replace one large tree of that size. We can take a look at species and locations to put some trees in. That's all I have.
Thank you. The homeowner association from Barnstable Lane, who is representing anyone from?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, can you identify yourself?
Yes, hi there. I'm Dottie Ansel, and I am the current president of the Rendezvous Lane Acres Association.
Welcome.
Thank you. Just to give you a little background, our members, we total about 40 households. And I just like to start by saying we have really taken great pride in this neighborhood. We have been a steward of Salton Point in many ways, the vista pruning just being one of them. And I had sent you folks as a historical reference, I submitted documents that designate the parcel of land that we are discussing today. The Rendezvous Lane Acres Association donated it to the Mass Audubon back in August of 1967. And as Ed mentioned, and I think I just heard Ian say, with regards to the vista pruning, that was granted by Mass Audubon dating back to 1982. And in subsequent 2004 letter, Mass Audubon gave us permission to continue the vista pruning with the permit to be renewed every 5 years. I really believe we've had a great partnership with Audubon. We have not only really followed the rules for pruning, but we have also maintained the fence area, which we just installed about a year and a half ago, a new fence that cost us over $2,500 to repair. And that is the fence line between the Audubon and the street. And it was in serious disrepair. So we want to continue to have a good relationship with Ian and the Audubon as well as Ed. What I'd like to say is the beautification of this area just isn't for the neighbors that live here. It really is for so many people that walk this neighborhood. Some drive it, doing the loop, but they enjoy the view of Sandy Neck and the Millway and the harbor. And, we have spent thousands of dollars. We've adopted the triangle that sits across from the Audubon land. We've spent hours doing plantings, hiring landscapers. We have controlled the Phragmite issue in an ecologically safe way, as well as purple loosestrife. It's, as I said, it's not only us benefiting by everything that we do here, but it's also the fishermen, the kayakers, the bird watchers, and they enjoy that view. And that's why we do spend the money to do the vista pruning yearly. And I just want to say that the event that occurred, and I think that someone else had mentioned this, we did not have any prior knowledge to that. So it was a neighbor that took it upon himself. But again, we had no knowledge of that. And we honestly don't feel our VISTA permitting should be jeopardized due to this event. So I guess that's what I have to say on this. But I have been working, thank you, Ian and Ed, for working with me. I hope we can work through this because we enjoy, you know, doing the beautification of our neighborhood, and we'd like to continue for not only us, but for many of the people that come, whether it's from the courthouse or whether it's from the village, but we'd like to continue that working with you in partnership. So I thank you so much for giving me the time to speak today.
Thank you. Thank you for working with Ian and Ed on this. I think your neighborhood looks very nice. And, you know, I'm sure that, you know, we can work together with the vista pruning.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that.
I wanted to let you know that Commissioner Sampu has joined the meeting.
Thank you.
329.
329. Let me go through the last enforcement order, and then we'll go back to the revised plan. So,
Tom,
ahead.
could I ask a question?
Yeah.
Is there, and I don't know on the legality of this, but from what I just heard, it's one private individual across the street directed some landscaper or some tree cutter to cut that 12-inch tree down. Is that my understanding?
I think
it was a member who I believe he's also a member of the homeowners association, but he was acting on his own, directing.
Right. So I guess, Ed, in regards to your statement about there may not be room to put even 2 trees to replace that, and it's going to be pretty difficult to put a 12-inch caliper tree.
Yeah, you're never going to get the 12-inch.
Yeah, you're never going to get the 12-inch back there. But is there any logic to going on the other side of the street where the gentleman's property that directed the tree to be cut down and put some form of 12 inches back on that side of the street and not try to jam something in an area that's going to be difficult to do?
I understand what you'd like to do, but I don't think we have. But legally, I don't think we'd be able to force that issue.
Okay, it's just
it has to occur on the land where it happened.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why I asked the question. Okay.
Thank you. Could I have a motion to approve?
Could I just ask a question?
Luis?
Yeah, if the follow-up to this is going to be a reapplication for vista pruning or whatever, Jeff just kind of gave me an idea. Perhaps there should be someone from the association who is solely responsible for interfacing with the people doing the vista pruning.
There's been people like that all along. I mean, traditionally, and it was Betsy Wheeler has taken a long time representative working between the commission and the landscaper. Again, this was nothing that the association did, you know, under their official capacity. This was somebody who basically went out and had hired the person that worked, or an assistant of the person that worked on that landscaping project, and hired them on the side to cut the tree down. So it had nothing to do with the
at all.
determination, right?
Thank you.
Could I have a motion to approve?
I've got a question too, please, Tom.
Oh, sorry, Pete.
So I came in a little bit late, but my question here perhaps follows up on Louise's. The individual who cut it down, the hired hand, so to speak, are we going to be fining that individual? Are we going to have any kind of action against him?
Yeah, but I've been trying to track him down and get the appropriate information.
Okay.
But you will be hearing that at a later date.
Thank you very much, Ed.
Mm-hmm.
Could I have a motion to approve the enforcement order as written?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Foster, aye. Kashruchek.
Kashulik.
Where'd he go?
Aye.
I don't see him.
I don't see him.
It looks like he's dropped off, and I haven't seen him come back on. So if he does come back on, I'll let you know.
Okay.
So, see, Hearn,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Sampu,
I think if it's possible that since I wasn't here for the full thing, I should abstain. I was here for most of it.
is Jeff back? Do we have a quorum?
I saw most,
Oh,
I
Jeff
thought-
is back.
Yep.
Geez.
Yes,
Sorry.
Here he is.
Sorry, my phone, my
Okay.
internet.
Kashulik,
Yes, aye.
okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Sorry.
That's okay. The last enforcement order is Lancy A. and Davis R. Base Trustees, 93 Southern Point Road, Barnstable, maps 280, parcel 018, alterations of a wetland resource area, salt marsh, by staking bags of clamshells in front of the peak bank and cutting a trench/opening in two sections of the high salt marsh to allow for drainage of upland. Failure to request a certificate of compliance for SE 3-4521. Ed.
can I make a quick interjection here, a recommendation for Jeff? Jeff,
Yeah.
I think I've got the same problem. I saw that you had a narrow bandwidth and it affected, I think, your ability to continue going. I have the same thing in West Barnstable, so I do not stream my video. If I stream my video, I have trouble with my bandwidth. So if you stop your video and go audio only, you'll have no problem staying fully abreast with the meeting.
Yeah, you know what? I've got somebody helping me with that here, and momentarily. So I got you. Thank you. I will do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ed.
All right, let's see. Am I sharing? Yes, I am sharing. All right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This actually came to us. It was a self-reported violation. One of the property is in a family trust. One of the members of the family was concerned about the loss of salt marsh bank and continued storm damage that was occurring on that north side. So what they had done is had done some research and looking into how to go about preventing this type of damage, and what they had come up with was taking onion bags, stuffing them with clamshell fragments, and then staking them in front of the bank. And at the time, the individual that had done that work had actually sought some advice from APCC one of the restoration people at APCC had said, it's like, well, you know, you'll definitely need to get permitting through conservation, the local conservation commission. And it was at that point he realized that there was an issue, and so he had come forward, had basically thrown himself at the mercy of the commission. I did go out and visit with him on site in early December. This is what you saw at the time. There was a line of these clamshell filled onion bags too high, running across the front of the high marsh area, and then there were also one bag width or height cutting these through these two cuts that had been developed in the high marsh area. This saw Spartina patens up in this area.
Ellen just texted me and said that.
So a lot of the issues that there was some concern for amount of water that's running off the driveway. That has certainly contributed to cutting even more of a space in this high marsh area. So this portion of high marsh is going to have to be restored. It started out as a small cut for just channeling some water, and it looks as though it's grown over time. And so what I've asked is that they remove the onion bags here along that long portion, which they have done. They did that immediately upon being asked, and that they will need to file a restoration plan using a certified restoration specialist. For the time being, I have them keeping these two areas, or the two cuts here, the bags there, so that it prevents any further erosion going on. And they will be working with, I believe they've already contacted Crawford Land Management, and they will be working as the SERP of record to do that restoration. I believe the homeowner or there's a representative for the trust. It's Stephen Bates, I think, is there. And if you have any questions for me or Stephen, you can go ahead and ask. Let me stop sharing.
Thank you, Ed. Any question from the commissioner? None. Ed, I just got a quick question. When you're reading that, you mentioned about the reason that the homeowner doing this is for the stormwater.
No, storm damage. They were very concerned. There has been, as we all know, on that north side of the harbor, it's sort of has a long fetch there between the bay and harbor, open harbor, and you are prone to very significant storm waves and storm wave action on that area. So it has eroded significantly over the last 10, 20 years. And so that's what they were trying to do. The idea is that building up essentially a wall that would prevent the storm waves from penetrating onto the peat bank.
Okay, good. Thank you. Steve, do you want to say anything about this enforcement order?
Yeah, that would be great. Ed, is there any way you can show Exhibit A, Slide 18, so that we could all look at one thing?
Yeah, hold on just a minute.
And while he's doing that, thank you very much, Ed. Yes, we had a passionate member of the trust that was going ahead to try to do this in a natural way. He did call up Ed, and we have gotten some great knowledge on what we should do and what we shouldn't do, and we're going to go forward with that. We've engaged with Crawford Land Management We've given them a survey of the area as well as both members, both pieces of information for the Conservation Committee, and we're looking forward to what they have to say to go forward. One more slide. I guess I have the wrong slide. Could you go to 19, Ed? So when we were growing up, there was banking all the way past that stone wall that was put out in front. And we've owned the property since the 40s. The banking actually went much further than that. Have absolutely no problem with everything that Ed has said, except we have no idea of trenches being cut there. That there's been a lot of damage. The water comes up well past that grass area on the right, past the area that is for where the car's parked. It comes up underneath the cottage, and there's white caps inside of there that takes the banking away, and we were just trying to preserve that. Hopefully, Crawford Land Management will give us the right way to go do that. As Ed has said, as soon as we knew we weren't in compliance and we self-reported, we pulled everything out there and we're back to where we should be. Thank you, Ed, for your help with that. Thank you for being very cooperative with that. And we look forward to working with Conservation Commission and Crawford Land Management to get this place in order. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Steve. Could I have a motion to approve the enforcement order as written?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Foster, aye. Kashulak,
Aye. Aye.
thank you. Hearn,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Campu.
Aye.
It's all in favor, 5 yes votes, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Good luck, Steve. Let me go back to, did I do the extension request? I don't remember that.
No.
Let me go back to that. It's Paul F. Fitzgerald, trustee SE 3-5972. And this is the first request for 3 years. Arlene?
Some of you may remember this is the property just before the Kevin E. Lane Bridge. And a couple of years ago when we had that miserable winter with a series of bad storms, this property sustained some erosion. The property owner was concerned that he needed to do some stabilization, and we got a permit for that work and some very extensive planting on this site. At that time, the DPW was beginning the process of planning for additional work to repair the Kevin E. Lane Bridge. He was hoping that the two projects could be dovetailed and done at the same time. The town project is taking significantly longer than he had hoped. But fortunately, the last couple of winters have been kind to this site. And so he would like an extension in the hopes that the town project will actually proceed before we get another really bad winter. If not, he'll do the project by himself.
Thank you, Arlene. Any questions for Arlene? Could I have a motion to approve the extension request?
Second, yes.
Second.
Roll call.
So moved.
Roll call.
Foster, aye. Kashulak,
Aye.
Hearn,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Campu.
Aye.
5 in favor, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We go back to the revised plan. This is the Wild Away Realty Trust, SE 3-6126. This is tabled from December the 3rd, and the quorum is everyone except Jeff's. Sean.
Good afternoon. For the record, Sean Riley with Ty and Bond. If the commission remembers, you asked us to go back and take a look at potentially relocating the chicken coop outside of the 100-foot buffer. If I could share my screen.
Yes, please.
There we go.
While you working with the screen, there is a comment letter from the Clean Waters Coalitions on this matter too. That was in the file. So,
has everybody had a chance to read that letter?
Yes. Yep.
I did.
Okay, great. So the
you're not sharing the screen yet.
Oh, it didn't show up. Give me 1 second. I had to get permissions. There we go. How about now?
Yep, coming.
Okay, great. So in speaking with the homeowner, there's several reasons why they cited the chicken coop in this location. It's in a shaded area, in the wooded protected shaded area first, and it's also more importantly, the furthest position we could find it away from any of the neighbors, the abutters' houses. And also we have 2 large pine trees that we wanted to try to preserve that are immediately adjacent to that. So we're really trying to work around those trees. Since the last meeting, I never thought when I was in school that I'd be looking up the impact of chickens on wetland resource areas, but I dug down as well as Zenas to look at what the production of nitrogen is for chickens. And I'll just cut to the chase. For this site, a handful is probably about 10 chickens. The amount that they produce is de minimis. They are going to do a deep litter composting, which occurs inside the coop, which essentially holds and contains everything under the roof. When they roost, that's turned over and then pulled out and composted and reused with the rest of the compost in the gardens that they have on the property. This property is one of the very few on Cape that you'll see a very little lawn within this area. And same with the adjacent property. So even outside of the 100-foot buffer, there's only one small lawn panel on the property. So there won't be any fertilizer used in that lawn area. So again, the impact of the chickens within the 50 to 100-foot buffer really is de minimis. The overall project has removed over 2,000 square feet of coverage within the 0 to 50-foot buffer. We weren't required to have any mitigation. The homeowner has offered to fully vegetate the 0 to 50 where there were buildings. There was a work shed that was right down adjacent to the wetland. And they voluntarily added a nitro system, nitrogen reduction system that will significantly reduce the nitrogen that's produced on the property. So as stated in that letter, the homeowner really is a steward for the environment and would not do anything to do anything that would be inhibitive of that. So with that, I'll open it up to any questions you may have.
Thank you, Sean. Bill?
Yeah, I appreciate the fact that they're planning on, let me put it on a full screen here. They have an IA system. That's, whoa, you just went away. Excuse me.
Oh, sorry.
Technical difficulties. Okay. I appreciate the IA system. It gets rid of the nitrogen. But chicken manure is also rich in phosphates. And phosphates are, an important nutrient for growing plants and whatnot. And we have, in the last so many years, been pretty much opposed to having chicken coops right up against the 50-foot buffer. In fact, we've rejected a few of them. And I saw Z. Crocker's letter, essentially minimizing the impacts of chicken coops. And I did my own research, and it's, for what it's worth, in the state of Massachusetts, Stoneham, Wareham, Watertown, and Dedham all have local ordinances that basically prohibit chicken coops from 100 feet from wetlands. Framingham has a 100 to 150 foot from a water source, and Holyoke has at least a 100-foot prohibition from year-round surface water bodies. So, you know, this is not something that we alone are concerned about. You know, it isn't regulated by the state, and the towns have the right to do that. And we have not been terribly keen on having chicken coops sitting basically right on the 50-foot buffer line. And so I would really appreciate trying to, you know, bump it forward, maybe towards that driveway a little bit, just whatever. I just think it's a bad precedent. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Luis?
Yes, I agree with everything Bill said. And let's see, one of the rationales was for having it in that spot was that there are 2 pine trees that you want to be careful of. You want to keep them going. I'm not sure why the presence of the chicken coop is going to have an effect on that one way or the other. And the second reason I heard was that you wanted to minimize the amount of disturbance for the rest of the neighborhood. But if you take care and don't have roosters, chickens are not all that noisy, at least not my experience. So I would really like to have that chicken coop moved away from the resource area.
Thank you, Luis. Any other questions from the commissioner or comments?
Yes, please.
Pete.
Yeah. So yeah, I've got a background in water pollution as well, and Bill is exactly right. Phosphorus, at least in freshwater systems, is the dominant concern for eutrophication and altering phytoplankton assemblages in every kind of wetland. So my question here arises: could not this chicken coop, as I'm looking at the map in front of us, be moved about at least just on the other side of the pine trees and rotated 90 degrees so that it is parallel to the drive there, easy access from the drive, and, you know, well away from that 50-foot. We're very close. Yes. Is that a possibility up in there? Because that really, I think, would please us all. Thank you.
Thank you, Pete. Sean, in general, yes, we don't have the regulations per se in terms of the locations of the chicken coop. But in the past, we have kind of, you know, as a practice, asking the chicken coop to be located further away from the resource area, you know, for both the nitrogen and the phosphorus standpoint. So, you know, if you can play around with it, I think that would help your case for the revised plan if better. The other things too, you know, if you're going to do the revised plan, can you add the dimensions on the chicken coop as well as the proposed shed? I didn't see any dimension in there.
Yes. And we're going to add the beehives as well. I didn't want to make another revision to the plan that you weren't going to approve. So we'll add those on the final approval just so we don't, so we can save some time. If we were to relocate, can everybody see the screen, the chicken coop up on the other side of those trees, would that be sufficient? And then we'd relocate the compost boxes.
It would be with me.
Yeah,
it would be with me too, because now, you know, with a little bit of a
go that way.
A downward sort of movement of nutrients from that, the pine trees are going to love it.
Right.
Are the chickens going to be confined in any way, or are they just free to run around?
No, they have a contained house with roost inside the house and nesting boxes inside the house. The whole run is fully roofed, so it's not as though you're going to have runoff coming down in. And as I said, they use a a deep litter composting within inside the house, so it's all contained.
Yeah,
So
my daughter has chickens in Vermont, and they have, a house with roosting and nests and all that stuff. But they're allowed to run around anywhere in the yard. So my question is, are these guys going to be fenced in?
they are not free. They are not free range. No, there's a run. The actual house itself, the coop itself, is only about 8x8, and then they have a twice that size in the run. So,
Okay.
yep. So they're fully caged. They're not running the neighborhood.
Okay, thank you.
Could I have the motions to approve the revised plan if the chicken coop is relocated to where what Sean is showing us further north of the two pine trees, and with the dimensions on the chicken coop and the proposed sheds?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Foster, aye. Kashulik.
Oh, he's not in the quorum.
Oh, sorry. Hearn.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
Zampu.
Aye.
It's unanimous, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Good luck, Sean.
Thank you.
We have one NOI, is Mary Lou Lerero, proposed additions to existing single-family dwelling at 6 Stony Cliff Road, Centerville, as shown on the Assessors Map 189, Parcel 019. There is an SC3 number 6237, and also there is a revised plan that was sent out this morning, and the date on the revised plan is January 14th, 2025. Kim sent it out this morning. Dan?
Good evening, or afternoon, I guess it still is, Chairman, members of the Commission. For the record, Dan Ojala. I'm a land surveyor and also a civil engineer with Downcape Engineering in Yarmouth Port. And here, sharing is not turned on. Could I get permission to share?
You're all set, Dan.
Okay. There it is. So here's the site plan. It's the site has Bumps River on the east side. It's in a bit of a curve in the road. You can see here, so it's north of Route 28 at the intersection there with Stony Cliff and Alms Way. The site is bisected by a right-of-way that goes out to the back. There's a track here that goes out to the Cranberry Bogs. It's a right-of-way. And part of the reason that's important is that's within the 50-foot buffer, and it's not a portion of our lot which we really control. So that's what that is. Here's the view from the street. You can see our work van is parked kind of in that right of way, and then there's a tree bisecting, and then this is our driveway over here with the house to the left. So again, we can't really redo that, but the good news is we've got it into a position where we've got talked with Ed. They had kind of done a pre-review on it, and we beefed up the mitigation. We pulled up some additional gravel and increased the mitigation a little bit outside of the 50 to fully mitigate the project according to your latest buffer zone regulations and also the riverfront regulations. So those numbers are now shown here. So the project is simply in an area of existing gravel. We're putting in a little 14 by 24 one-car garage, and then on the other side is 12 by 22 size. So it's really only about 12 by 20 of new hardscape because this is within the existing hard packed gravel. And we're pulling up some of the gravel, which is right here. So that's the reason that the mitigation calculations were changed and are now so favorable. So because we've subtracted some, instead of about 200, it's only about 146 square foot of increase, and the 50 to 100. So you look at a 3 to 1 is 438, and we're now proposing 700 square foot of mitigation. It was suggested perhaps to extend a little bit out here, but as you could see from that photograph, that's not a great spot for mitigation because it would be risky about getting run over. But behind those trees and in the lawn area, we're introducing additional plantings here. The detail for those is shown on the top here. So net, I think it's a nice little benefit. You guys are getting over 3 times hold up lawn and hardscape versus new hardscape. So I think the spirit and intent is met. Of course, it's always nice to fully mitigate the 50-foot buffer, but with that right of way here, we simply can't do that. But again, it's a mild right of way. It's somewhat pervious gravel, and we're taking everything on our side of it up to the point that we've demarcated here and replanting it. So I think it's a win-win. They also just when you're going to drive in here, like I said, we kind of need to drive over the point of that a little bit to get in. But other than that, we took the suggestion to heart. We removed some gravel. We added some additional plantings, and I think it's a win-win. Be glad to answer any questions you have on this one. So obviously the riverfront is easily met. You look at it like a 2-to-1 for that, and it's 146 times 2 is 300, and we get about 700 proposed. And your calculation is a little bit more restrictive. That's 3-to-1 at 438. And we've got 700 proposed. So I think it's a good project. I'd be glad to answer any questions if you do have them.
Thank you, Dan. Bill?
Yeah, bottom line, I think it is a good project. However, I made a site visit today without being aware of the additional mitigation that was being proposed. And I went there because I was concerned about the gravel driveway. And it's another one of these gray areas. A gravel driveway has some permeability, and we'll say, yeah, but it'll also sort of plug up somewhat. But it does provide some drainage, and it does provide some minor filtration. And it does have that particular place has, it has moss and grass in places. It's kind of a beat up old place, but and then you're taking that gravel driveway and you're putting in a hardcore addition, and there's going to be a bedroom on the second floor, I understand. And so you're taking this somewhat grassy, mossy, crappy driveway and you're really hardening it. And there's 348 feet of that gravel driveway that you're looking at as if it were already hardscape. And so I felt as though your mitigation wasn't really accounting for the fact that you're really hardscaping a gravel driveway. And so I was thinking I would want to see just about what you did. You widened it up, and I only found that out when I came back from my site visit. And so I just wanted to comment on that gray area with gravel parking becoming formal. You're counting it as hardscape, and I don't know that that's fair. But what you've done is good. And so where it's now 700 square feet, and it looks like you're really overcompensating in the mitigation, I think you're basically about break even. And it's a gray area. We don't have an ordinance that deals with that. So, but thank you. I'm good with the project.
No, I appreciate that, and I did fail to mention that to your point where you've got a somewhat pervious gravel and replacing it with a truly impervious roof. We did introduce a large dry well, so that's going to completely infiltrate all the new runoff and put it in the ground. So net it'll be better than it was, and not the least of which then we're also pulling up some more gravel. So much better post than pre. And you do have a definition of hardscape, which includes any type of shell or gravel, and that of course cuts both ways. But that is in your definitions, which is why we do count gravel as quote unquote hardscape. But I agree, it's not quite as impervious as a roof. But again,
right.
Thank you.
I mean, over time the gravel is going to be packed, and you you're not going to get any infiltrations, for that. So any other question from the commissioner? Any public comment? Channel 18.
You could just give me 1 second. There was a gentleman that was on for this item and he seems to have left, and I think he might be trying to get back on. So give me 1 second.
Okay.
DEP didn't have any comments, so that was a clean DEP issue numbers.
Right. I saw the DEP letter.
Mr. Callanan, is that you on the iPhone? Looks like maybe you got bumped off. Mr. Callanan, is that you?
Yeah, that's me.
Okay, thank you. They're taking public comment on the item that you were here for. I know you got bumped off, so.
Go ahead.
Yeah, if I could talk to him, I live next door. I'm about 100 yards away from him, next door.
Do you have any
That's me on the iPhone, yes.
Go
yes.
ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I live right across the street from the house, and I was just wondering, that's all conservation area. Is that going to be commercially zoned, or is that residential? Yes.
This is a residential district here, and would be considered agricultural, where the roadway goes out to the bog in the back. But no, this is just a single family home, not commercial.
No, I know, but I live across the street. He's using it for commercial. Yeah.
Well, again, you are allowed in Barnstable to have a home business, and you can have a couple of vehicles, but no more than that. So you can. It's a zoning issue. If you have any issues, you can certainly talk to them. But we're proposing a garage to get some vehicles inside, which will help, I think.
Will that be on the corner, or how's that going to be figured in, that garage?
Yeah, the end of the house is one on the right and one on the gable end of the house, two bays.
So they're going to do just one end or both ends?
So it's kind of an L shape. I don't know if you can see the screen or not, but if you're able to log on, but we can certainly email you a copy of the plan if you can't see. But it's basically the end of the house coming out 12 feet towards the street.
Okay, so it'll be on that corner where the wall is now. There's a wall, retaining wall?
Yeah, exactly. The two additions are kitty corner to that and hugging the house. So it's not a huge addition.
All right. But he's been using that commercially, so I got a little concerned because it's him pulling all those vehicles in there.
Yeah, well, you're welcome to have a conversation with him, and if there's any issues, you can certainly sort it out with the building commissioner. You're not allowed to have a contractor's yard on a house lot in Barnstable.
Right. I understand that. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, because we can only deal with the conservation issues jurisdictions-wise, and if you're really concerned about the zoning issues, that's either the building inspector or the zoning board for the town. So, Channel 18, any more public comment on this?
That's all we have. Thank you.
Could I have a motion to approve this project as submitted with the revised plan date January 14th, 2025?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Foster, aye. Kashulik,
Aye.
Karen,
Aye.
Yee,
Aye.
Lampoon.
Aye.
Unanimous, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Dan.
Appreciate your time. Thank you very much, folks.
We have two continuances. The first one is Robert and Pamela Brindley to demolish the existing single-family dwelling and construct a new single-family dwelling with patio and spa and all associated appurtenances with and vegetated banks restoration at 64 Bayview Road, Austin, shown on the Assessors Map 093, Parcel 054. This is a continuance from December the 10th, and the applicant has requested for a withdrawal without prejudice. This matter is being withdrawn at this point. The second continuance is Nicholas David Samara and Erica Lynch Pearson, Wild Away Realty Trust, removal and reconstructions of a single-family home's accessory structures, swimming pool updating utility, and a sewage disposal system upgrade, stormwater drainage, vegetation restorations, and associated site improvement at 205 Superior Road, Austinville, as shown on the Assessors Map 095, Parcel 013-002. This is a continuance from January the 7th, waiting for the DEP number, and the DEP number is issued as SE3-6236, and there's no additional comment on this project. Could I have a motion to close the public hearing and authorize the staff to issue the order of condition?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Foster, aye. Koshulik,
Aye.
Karen,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Shampoo.
Aye.
It's unanimous, Mr. Chairman.
Could I make a comment that I think that Jeffrey would not be voting on this because he was not part of the previous proceeding, and I was mullined in for this?
Sorry, yes, you are mullined in. Correct.
I'm mullined in, he was not.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
it's only a 4-0 vote.
Yeah,
Right.
I forgot to mention. We have one certificate of compliance, easy ones. It's Cecilia Vieira Stone, 75 Harbor Bluff Road, SE3-5698. Could I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Foster, aye. Koshulik,
Aye.
Karen,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Shampoo.
Aye.
It's unanimous, Mr. Chairman.
Our next hearing is 6:30 at 6:30 on January the 21st.
Tom?
Oh.
Tom,
Jeff?
could I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to welcome Jeff here. When I saw Jeff's resume, I thought we hit the jackpot because, you know, it was a desert out there. There was nobody applying. And I saw that resume and I said, we are very fortunate that this gentleman has come forward to volunteer his time. And he's got a great background. I don't know if he's shared it with you folks, but it's perfect for this committee. And I just want Jeff to know that all these commissioners, you hit the jackpot too, Jeff, because all these commissioners, they are all top-notch professionals in this in this commission, and they have great camaraderie. They can disagree without arguing. It's one of the best committees this town has, and it's such an important one. I think you're very fortunate to find yourself on this one.
Right. Well, I appreciate that. I just need to work on my internet, my friend. And
Yes. Well,
I'll do that.
solutions aside, that's.
I'll do that
that's
between now and next. I'll do that between now and next Tuesday. I promise you.
Well, thank you, Charlie, for the comment. And I think we all tried our best to work because with the commissions, and it takes some time and friendship as well.
It does.
You know, it does. Could I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Foster, aye. Kachulek,
Aye.
Karen,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Shampoo.
Aye.
It's unanimous, Mr. Chairman.
We are adjourning at 4:18.